People here in town think I'm making a huge mistake. Some of them, I think, secretly want there to be an attack on the United States so they can blame it on me. One of the people in the media the other day came up to me and said, "Oh, well, when there's a great attack, aren't you going to feel guilty that you caused this great attack?" And it's like, the people who attack us are responsible for attacks on us.
All right. That, of course, Rand Paul walked back the statement that, people want to see an attack so they could blame me. I mean, that's a little delusion of grandeur there. Joining us now is Congressman Mike Pompeo from the great state of Kansas, a member of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, member of the House Select Committee on Benghazi. Hello, Congressman.
It's great to be with you. How are you today?
Great to talk to you again. Thank you. All right. So, apparently today the Senate is going to vote. And my first question is, why didn't the House vote to pass, the Patriot Act as was?
It was deeply disappointing to me that we didn't even get a chance to vote on it. I frankly think there might have been the votes, but leadership didn't think that there were enough votes to pass it. I think we would have probably lost every Democrat vote and 30 or 40 Republicans who would have voted with the same way Senator Paul would have voted, and we would not have been able to pass it in its current form. It creates risk for Americans every single day that these programs, these tools are taken away from our intelligence warriors.
What do you think is the reason that Rand Paul is doing what he's doing?
I couldn't tell you what his motives are. I can only tell you what the upshot is. Especially, I mean, we're dark right now. I don't know, maybe the Senate's done something in the last hour, but we're dark right now. We now have our intelligence folks without the capacity to perform important post-9/11 functions, and Senator Paul's actions led very directly to this. Whether one collects the metadata inside government or leaves it with the phone companies, today we're in a worse situation even than that. And this means that an important intelligence tool is not in the hands of the people who we are all tasking and demanding keep us safe.
All right, so if the Senate does pass the bill that the House passed and it goes to the President and he signs it as he indicated he will, what kind of disadvantage does that put us at compared to where we were in May before the sunset of the Patriot Act and the NSA metadata program?
It means that a tool that has been used repeatedly and with great effect, despite what Senator Paul has told folks, to help our intelligence community round out their picture of terrorists and what they're doing here in the United States and, frankly, all across the world, not just in the Middle East, but in Europe as well. They now won't have this important tool. They won't have the capacity to quickly gain data that says, we know we have a known bad actor. Who else is it that they're speaking with? And how do we make sure we have rounded up all the contacts of this terrorist? It's one tool. It's an important tool. And if the Senate passes our version of the bill and it goes to the President, our task is to immediately begin to try and get that power back for them.
All right. I'm with you on all that. Having said that, how on earth, and I know the head of the TSA was reassigned today, and I want your take on that as a member of the committee that you're on, but how on earth does 95% of fake explosives and weapons get past TSA? I mean, not 20%, not 30, not even 50, 95%. What the heck does that mean? How safe are we when we get on an airplane?
It is incomprehensible that an agency that we all see, right? Every one of us who travels through airports or through other modes of transportation sees these folks, and we've all seen that these aren't the best screening processes. But to think that they catch, 4 out of 100 at best, that's no better than random. And to think that this could have been going on for an extended period of time presents risk to the homeland. And frankly, the fact that this person was reassigned creates an enormous question in my mind whether the Secretary understands the true gravity of what this study showed.
Well, what do you mean? What should have happened? What should the Secretary have done?
My goodness, I can't imagine somebody who was running a program like this being competent to be any place in government.
Should have been fired.
Yeah, it should have been. Look, I was in the private sector for 20 years before I came to Congress 4 years ago. There is no chance that my solution to a failure of this magnitude would have been to say, well, you can go over to some other place in my organization and be a leader. Right? You would say, no, you had a singular task. It was an important task. I gave you responsibility for it. You have failed. you are no longer going to be part of this organization.
Are they even allowed to fire him? I mean, I know I read about so many union restrictions and restrictions on firing government employees. Could the secretary have fired him?
Goodness gracious, I couldn't tell you what the technical requirement
I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking.
Yeah, you ask a great question, Steve. It's probably the case that there's some government union protection for this.
Unbelievable.
Fella.
All right,
Yeah.
where are we headed with Benghazi? Are we going to hear Hillary testify, or is it going to be behind closed doors? Where does that stand now? What about Uma Abedin? What about Sid Blumenthal? They're all going to talk to you guys. Are we, the public, going to see it and hear it?
We're going to continue to do what we've been doing. We're going to get to the bottom, or at least as close as we can get with the documents that we
But
can
Congressman, with all due respect, is that a yes or a no? Because I'm trying to make
yes.
my plans. Yeah.
Secretary Clinton has agreed to testify before our committee in an open hearing that will be available for everyone to sit down and listen to the conversation about the events that she was involved in connected to these four.
Under oath, right? Under oath.
She will have every requirement that she speak the truth. I imagine she'll be under oath.
Right.
But whether she's under oath or not, she has a statutory responsibility to tell the truth to Congress every single time she speaks.
And Blumenthal and Uma too?
They're going to be before us. I do not know if Chairman is going to have those be public, or if we're going to do those in the form of transcribed interviews.
Congressman, great to speak to you. Keep up the fight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. Have a great day.
My pleasure. All right, folks. Up next, Kendall Coffey will be here. There were two U.S. Supreme Court decisions yesterday, both interesting. We'll talk about them.